Olympics. Nigeria, we spent 12 billion naira on Olympics. And when I read that report, I said, where did this 10 billion naira, where was it actually spent on? What was it spent on? Excuse me. And of course, I asked myself the question and I gave myself the answer. The answer is corruption. This money they didn't spend it on our athletes. They spent it on the bureaucrats from the Ministry of Sports, possibly from presidency, because the kitchen cabinet now, I learned that, I got to understand that during Buhari time, they seem to be interested in virtually everywhere money. They follow the money. Wherever money goes, you see them. Those kitchen cabinet guys, they dip their hands in so many corruptions here and there. So obviously that 12 billion is just it was shared. It was actually moved into private pockets. That's just it. Now, after spending this whopping amount of money, I don't know if I'll call it up. Please, someone should correct me if I'm wrong. If it's precedented, that we have never been to Olympics without winning something, at least winning a medal. It could be bronze, silver, or bronze. A sort of, I don't know if they can anyone, this is unprecedented, right? A situation where we attended Olympics and came back home, zero, no medal at all. Am I right?
I think there were one or two Olympics that we also got 0 medals.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, all right. So this is not unprecedented. Okay, all right. But in other words, however, this 12 billion naira, we spent 12 billion naira, no medals. Barrister, what do you think could be the reason behind this, that our athletes didn't come back home with any form of medal?
You do not have to look for a reason. The reason is self-evident. The Olympics, people who go there prepare 4 years ahead. And the preparation is intense. It is not a fire brigade approach. You don't wake up just and say, we are going to the Olympics. Look at the delegation. We had 82 athletes, but we had 88 officials. So when you look at 82 athletes and 88 officials, you begin to see one of the most corrupt places in Nigeria is the sports ministry and the sports associations. They are among the most corrupt in Nigeria. I had a personal experience. The first African Football Women Championship was organized by the Abacha government, although he died before the championship started. In the Kaduna venue, I was the secretary of the accommodation subcommittee, and we lodged the teams from Egypt, from Zaire, from Nigeria, and one other country. They were lodged in Hamdallah for the duration of the tournament. After 2 or 3 days, we received notice, the accommodation subcommittee received notice that the following day, they were going to throw up our athletes from the hotel because there was no payment, and they will not give them food. So this is a competition that was organized 1 year before, and there was no payment for the hotel, no payment for the feeding of the athletes, and they gave us notice that they are going to remove us from the hotel and not feed us. So everybody started running helter-skelter. So I had knowledge of how we operate in Nigeria. It's deliberate. The people will not do anything until the last moment, and that will force the hands of the government. When this thing happened, everybody started running. Delegations, they called the coordinator, they called minister, everybody, they ran to Aso Rock to meet Abacha. Look, Nigeria is on the verge of being put to shame. This is the issue. In that atmosphere, the man will just sign the money that is brought. No scrutiny of the budget. They will sign so as to avoid shame. The money was signed. They sent these bank ambulance vehicles here in Kaduna with a military escort to go to Abuja and bring the money. And the hotel was paid cash because part of the money was to be taken back. So it is no issue of transfer. You have to pay cash, and the other one that is meant for the big shots will be taken by the ambulance and military escort and taken back to share. So that is the modus of operandi. It is a corruption organized system. The athletes, if you remember, if you read the interview by Mikel Obi, when they were going for 96 Olympics, the football team stayed at the airport from morning to night.
What 96 Olympics was Mikel Obi then? I thought it was kind of one not Mikel Obi.
Not 1996. I don't know a particular Olympics. I just read the report yesterday, his interview. They were at the airport from morning to evening, dispute on who should pay for the flight ticket. The player ended up paying the flight ticket. Otherwise, they were not going. There was dispute between the Ministry of Sports and NFA and who should pay for the flight ticket. And the players were in the airport from morning till they left by night, and the player paid for that flight. So, and this money had already been released. It's not as if it was not. So it is thoroughly a corrupt system. How do you, this Olympics, everybody knows there are no secrets there. The Nigerian sprinter for 100 meters, for 200 meters, everybody knows her speed. It's already known. This is much. Highest, if she exerts herself, she can add a little. The American sprinter, we know what their time. The Chinese and everybody know. So when you want to compete, you have to put yourself in a position where you are near, where you can win. If you are so low, if these people are clocking to 10 seconds and you know you are clocking 2, there's no need for you to go. Yeah. But that does not happen in Nigeria. They must carry people so that money will be embezzled and chopped. Wow. So that is just the system. Wow. That is how the system operates. How do you carry 82 athletes to an Olympics and not even a bronze?
Honestly.
Was won. And on top of that, you carry 88 officials. So it is just the corruption in Nigeria that will not allow us to, not that we have the talent.
We have, of course, that's what I said
earlier.
We
have the talent. We have all the talent in whatever field, not just sports, whatever field you can think of. I am just reading an article here. The smartest family in UK is a Nigerian family, Mifadon. In the UK, and the smartest boy is a Nigerian. It is on record. The whole family started going to university at the age of 8. I just read the article. Nigerians can excel in any field, but as long as we are not able to put our acts together, we will continue with this shame that we saw in the Olympics.
All right, thank you so much for that. That's so sad. I didn't know about this. I know the sports ministry is extremely corrupt, but I didn't know it's this extreme. That was the truth. I didn't know that we actually go with unqualified. Yeah, just like it's noted earlier. Yeah, sprinters usually, it's not something you are not going to. It's not you already know what you are going for as a sprinter. You already know the record of, at least as a sprinter. It's easy for you to. It's not like football or other games or whatever. Usually, most of these field events, you already have something. You already see. You know what you are up against. A sort of. So if I don't know why we should go with sprinters, for instance, sprinters that are not in the league of actually winning or potential of even winning anything in the track and field events. So that's so sad. I didn't know that the corruption is this deep. That's unfortunate. Shegun, can you have a take? Do you have a take on that?
Yes. I've been a victim of this before. Well, probably you don't know. I played volleyball for the national team for 5 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
And yes,
I
represented Nigeria for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
I was in the reserve team for Kuja in 2003. Before I got injured and on and off the injury, I had to stay back, study and all that, then do other things and get busy with work before I left. So I'm in a very good place to tell you that.
I didn't know that.
One of the reasons why we fail is because we don't prepare. That is, leave corruption out of it, because corruption is a very big cloud over our heads. Everybody that you see in the sports ministry wants a kobo from whatever you are making. Even if you're making it legitimately, they want a share of it. Where they don't get a share of what you get, they frustrate you. That was what happened to Ofili. That was what happened to Obikwelu. That was what happened to, what's this other lady that went to run for Bahrain? We had 2 athletes run for Portugal. You saw what happened in these Olympics. The lady that won gold in hammer throw for America, from the southeast of Nigeria, Chukwuemeka or something, was thrown out of Tokyo, the last edition of the Olympics, because they said she did not come home to compete. We have them abound in America, beating the world bests.
Yeah.
But the Athletic Federation of Nigeria will tell you must come home to compete. When you come home, they pitch you against some small children and tell you it's just for you to compete. That's where they do all their sourcing and they pick the people that they want. You will be so shocked that in those teams, at least I played for a team before where I saw 2 or 3 players who were not qualified to play volleyball for the country or represent the country, who could not even serve, who were part of the 12-man team that went to Cameroon and were thoroughly beaten. Why? Because they felt because we had beaten Cameroon 3-1 and it was going to be easy ride for us. So they took those boys there and they said they should start. For me, for instance, I warmed up. At the end of the day, I told them I can't play. And they said, well, I said I had a back strain. But of course, I understood why I would not play. I'm not going to be part of any shame where anybody is going to pummel me because somebody's son wants to represent the country and he can't even serve. You see, this is a problem. If you look at the team that China brought to these Olympics, we did an analysis of it. Most of them are below 19. They are already training people who would participate in the next 3-4 Olympics. They're already bringing them out. But Nigerians keep parading people who are 40, or probably people who are pretending to be, who are 28, but pretending to be 17 and 20. Bulk of these guys that you see participate in athletics were just picked randomly from school. Some of them who were running in universities abroad were brought in and told to replace the ones who have been working hard in Nigeria. I was with the boxing team in Abuja here, and I was watching some of their sparring moments. And we're talking, I saw the way they were boxing, and I said, are you people not going preparing for the Olympics? They said, yes. I said, now even at the box like this, I can even outbox some of you here if I'm to spare. And they said, oh boy, we never chop since yesterday.
What?
No be who chop the box. Yes. You need to come and see the condition under which they sleep under the staircase. There are rooms that are created. Come to the National Stadium here in Abuja. Moshood Abiola Stadium here. There is package A, there is package B. Package A is where you have the tartan track, where they do the athletics and the aerodrome, where they where they do the cycling and they play football. Their package B is for volleyball, basketball, hockey, and everything. Filled with weeds. They would have to cut down the grass for you to even train. And some of these people who are training are makeshift athletes. The other athletes that could compete and win a medal have left because they're not properly taken care of. Mosquito, rats, snake infected environment is where they dump these guys. Some of them sleep on mattresses filled with fleas. You need to see the environment where they sleep. You need to see where they feed. Even the volleyball team that I played for then, if not that we organized Koja then, that was the only time we were able to eat chicken. The remaining times that we were in camp, we always beg people to feed us. All we need to do is just send somebody outside and say, Mr. JIBRIN, and we have not been able to. Bathing soap, as cheap as bathing soap, as cheap as toilet tissue paper. You would have to beg people who come to the camp, when you're now told to address them. That is if the officials permit you. Or for some of us who are very vocal, we just say, we point our hands and they'll tell us we can't talk. And we say, look, even if no one more we talk, let us tell you, we don't have bathing soap, we don't have this, we don't have slippers to even wear. That's when those people, because those things are demoralizing. If you don't encourage your athletes, how do they compete to win? We are champions in Toby Amuson. We are the champion in Ophili. We are the champion in the girl in long jump. You'll be surprised that 5 of them qualified for the semi-finals, 3 made it to the finals, none of them made bronze. Why? Because they're discouraged. When Ophili lost in the finals of the 200 meters heat, she would have easily won or probably picked a medal in the 100 meters. They dropped her name. The same thing was done to her in Tokyo. They now, because there was pressure, they now entered her for 200 meters. In 200 meters, she took her hits cleanly, defeating the best, only for her to get to the final and lose. You will be so surprised that no Nigerian official was there to even console her or celebrate with her, because she set a record. Bulk of the athletes in what's it called now, long jump, in 100 meters, in 100 meters hurdles, set world records that have been standing for 20 years. They broke those records, only that they could not pick a medal. Now, in rounding up, what has happened to our boxing and our weightlifters? What happened to our boxers? What happened to, in the days of Koyegbachi, Jeremiah Okorodudu, we had the Organ Kid Bassi. The first person who won a medal for Nigeria in boxing, he's late now, set a record. In those days, once you hear that Nigeria is coming to Olympics, you know that they are sure of picking 2 or 3 medals in different categories in boxing. Same thing with weightlifting. You will be so surprised that even in weightlifting, I think they went with 2 people, and the 2 of them fell off from the prelims. In boxing, they went also with 2 boxers, because the remaining boxers told them they were not going. They're owing them money, allowances for camping. They're owing them money. They didn't pay them. Those people were feeding on them on their own. One of them even got sick. That had to be admitted by a private person, somebody who likes him, got him admitted and everything. Then when he recovered, he said he wasn't going to be part of that team anymore. He withdrew. All of the boxers withdrew, except for 2 that were brought in as an automatic replacement, so that they don't have shortage of athletes participating in the competition. The 82 athletes that you heard that Barrister mentioned here, half of them are girlfriends, cronies, family members of those 88 officials. I'm sure you saw what happened to our basketball girls at the Olympics. They got into there were boats that were created where you wave the flag, the Nigerian flag, and then you ride through and everything, so that people would you party. By the time our basketball girls got there, the boat was filled up already. Filled up by people that were brought in by the government, and they are not athletes, flying the Nigerian flag. Meanwhile, the people who are supposed to be doing that are the athletes themselves. The Nigerian team had to go back to travel almost a whole day. They missed their training, and they had to play a match the following day. Look, I don't know. There is something fundamentally wrong with this country. So blessed, yet so cursed.
Honestly, yeah.
Honestly, it is not about the money. Look at the 12 billion that we're talking about now. If you watched the TV, the Minister of Sports was there defending this. And well, he actually admitted that he failed and heads will roll. But my brother, the whole thing is, you inherited a failure. You knew you were not going to. Look, Americans will withdraw you if they know that you're going to go there to disgrace them. Countries are preparing. They don't use 4 years to prepare for Olympics. So you prepare for Olympics 10 years, 20 years ahead, and say, okay, look, this is a potential winner. Let us nurture this talent, so that by the next 2 or 3 Olympics, this person will be winning medals for us. But in Nigeria, no. What we're doing is declining. Nobody looks at us anymore as a country to look up to be intimidated when they see us. Look at what Botswana did. They knew the guy that won the 100 meters, 200 meters was going to win anyway. So what they did was give him all the support that they needed. Instead of having to go with 5 athletes that will go and fail, they concentrated on him. And they won them gold medal. Either you like it or not, now he's on the list. And it's for Botswana, because you don't get to see his name listed. The Nigerian officials are not concerned. Either you win or you don't win. Didn't a minister tell us when the ladies won a gold in a female World Cup and female African Nations Cup? He said it on national TV that we were not expecting to win. Solomon Dalong was the one who said it. Say, I know expect we will win.
No, wow.
You know, they only went there to participate. So what they do is throw money at problems. But to prepare, for those things they don't want to do.
You mean a minister actually said that?
Dalong said it on national TV. We did not expect to win. You know, Dalong is a very blunt person. He said it the way it is. Chioma Ajunwa, when she was talking about the Olympics and the failure, explained her own experience and told Nigerians how she went through the hell to win gold for Nigeria in long jump. It was after she won that they now came around that, our champion, our Nigerian champion, our Amazon, they were now celebrating her. Thank God that she had a job. If she was not a policewoman, I'm sure her career would have finished from there. Because some of those athletes, once you get injured, they abandon you and they go for the next person. And if they can't get the next person, they don't participate, you are replaced. And that is the problem. That is aside corruption. Preparation is one thing that we leave undone. And that's one of the reasons why you cannot go to compete in gymnastics with China. And you go somewhere, somebody can, this guy can somersault, let us take him to participate. You want to compare that person with somebody who's been training since he was two years old? Haba.
So sad, honestly. It's so unfortunate that so many things are actually wrong with Nigeria. Nigeria is just like a human being that has kidney, has liver, has the heart, has the veins, the muscles in the body, the joints in the body. In Nigeria's case, headache, stomach problem, the kidney, everything, all the organs, every organ and joints, all the tissues and the bones, the joints, the organs in the body they are just sick. They're just sick. And some of them, unfortunately, are terminal. And some of them are just manageable. Some of them can be reversed by good governance. That is just where we find ourselves now in Nigeria and as Nigerians. It's so sad. This great country that is supposed to be a true giant or the true giant of Africa has become a laughingstock of Africa, the laughingstock of Africa, where even smaller countries, they make mockery of us. They make jest of us. They laugh at us. That's just it. Countries that used to see us as beacon of help and hope those days. They look up to us for one help or the one assistance or the other. Those countries are now countries where they denigrate our citizens who are in their country, resident in their countries, and they treat them anyhow, including countries we fought for, just like South Africa. Nigerians actually took Nigeria as a nation, and Nigerians, I remember our musicians especially, we stuck our neck for South Africa. Our musicians, I remember in the late 80s, early 90s, we had so many music and musicians that came out with this issue, this songs against the apartheid regime then, sort of. Now today, where is South Africa? Where is Nigeria with South Africa? Of course, they have far gone beyond, far above Africa and Nigeria right now. And not only that, they seem to be to be a kind of their actions seem to be very disdainful towards Nigerians, and that is where we found ourselves. I don't actually blame them. I don't blame anyone for mistreating Nigeria. Honestly, I don't blame anyone, and that is why I remember when sometimes ago someone was I think they said Donald Trump called I don't know what country in Africa I called a shithole country or whatever. And people were furious. How dare you say that? How dare he say that? Blah, 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 blah. I said, look, if he said that, it is the truth. I don't know, those countries, I don't know shithole country, including Nigeria is a shithole country, as far as I'm concerned. It's a shithole country. Let's call a spade a spade. That is not unpatriotic to actually call a spade a spade. In fact, it is patriotic to call a spade because it is who loves you. It is the person who loves you will tell you that your mouth stinks. A sort of anyone that is romancing your ego or cuddling your ego, that person doesn't love you. That person is just out. It's a psychopath. He's just out to actually milk you and get something out of you and leave. And that's just it. That's the unfortunate situation we have found ourselves as a country and as a people. Honestly, it is so sad. It's so sad. I sit down sometimes, I watch and see and read and hear what is going on. As a Nigerian and as a country, Nigeria, it pains me even more because sometimes I don't feel, I wish I could do something. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Sometimes I take it so personal. Honestly, it is so sad. I feel saddened all the time about this situation, especially when you have traveled to other countries and found out. I remember the first time I traveled abroad some years ago, I called this my politician. Okay, I mentioned to one of my friends who contested under vice presidential candidacy with I forgot the name of this party then. That was during that time of proliferation of political parties. Barrister, you would know Abdullahi, Muhammad Abdullahi or whatever. So I called him. I remember I called him. I called him. I said, Your Excellency, because I called him. I just nickname him that. I looked at how things were. Everything was just, the country I traveled to them, working, everything perfect. I said, for God's sake, you mean our politicians, they travel to countries like this? They visit countries like this. Yet, they go back home and still continue to continue to pull the country down by their corruption. Continue to amass wealth that are meant for projects, infrastructure. For God's sake, this is honestly, that is why someone like me, I will always advocate for death penalty for corruption. Just as it is done. I think Singapore, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. It should be one of these Asian countries. They have this. I think even China said Singapore has it. China has death penalty. Yes, Singapore has it, and Japan. Remember, yeah, when I traveled to Japan, that was when I found out about that they too have death penalty for corruption. And so, in Nigeria, we expect that in Nigeria too. In fact, in the case of Japan, one of the officials that took us around then, excuse me, in Tokyo, he actually told us that there was a contractor that was prosecuted for his father's crime. The father, the owner of the company, already died. The son was in charge of the company, and the son was prosecuted for the sin of the father because the father was no more. So that is what we actually need in Nigeria. Honestly, it is so sad. So sad. Anyway, thank you so much, Barrister. Thank you, Shegun. I don't know if there's no more thing I don't know. Is there anything you want to chip in more to round up? Any of you? No.
Let me say that we have been talking about Nigeria's problems. Whichever topic or angle you come, there's a common denominator: corruption and lack of patriotism. These two things run together. And most of us, just like you expressed, we are worried. We sit up in the night sometimes. What can I do? What can we do? And it's becoming more and more difficult to do something about it.
Honestly.
Because you see the scale of the problem, that your heart sinks. You look at it, that what can you alone do? What can one person do? And it's becoming more and more difficult to think of a solution to Nigeria's problem, because it's just getting from bad to worse. Where will you even start? Are you now going to dissolve the entire government, dissolve the entire army, dissolve the entire police, dissolve all the agencies? Because every one of them is about 90-something% corrupt.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So it's a difficult thing. I sit up in the night, I woke up in the night thinking, what can I do? or what can we do to just bring sanity to Nigeria? It is something that agitates the mind of a few of us in Nigeria, because we look at this, we go to foreign countries. I went to Dubai and I saw the orderliness at immigration. If you are not asked to take the next step, you stand where you are until you are asked to take the next step during the immigration. Now, when we came back to Murtala Mohammed Airport, it was bedlam. Everything, everybody, you see somebody with red cap, he says a chief with a walking stick, he will now jump the queue and go and stay in front. It became, we now say, look, we are just coming from somewhere. Did you even attempt to do this kind of behavior there? But as soon as you land on your own soil, you think there's no more law and order. It is so disgusting.
Yes.
But we always think, what can we do? What can we do? That is the challenge.
Anyway, thank you so much for that take. Honestly, yeah, you just reminded me, and you are very, very correct. Honestly, it's a funny thing, but it can be frustrating. Honestly, you see, Nigeria actually, just like you noted, travel to a different. They're just coming back. They were orderly where they are coming from. All of a sudden, they got to Nigeria and everything changed. They became something different. Completely, they come back to status quo. Instead of at least carrying that. That's my point. Carrying that same idea, what you found there, that is good. I always tell people something, we like copying. That's the problem with Nigerians. We are copy people. We like copying too much. Yes, we like copying too much, but the problem is that we always copy the wrong things. We always import the wrong attitude, the wrong behavior, the wrong character. We do the wrong things instead of, but do things that are that are virtuous, that will be beneficial to us, that it will be good for us. We don't copy those things. We come back and continue with the nonsense, the trash that we do.
Yeah.
That's a very painful thing, honestly. So painful.
I'm sure you have heard the joke that somebody went abroad. I don't know where there. He was served sweet, some candy. So he took the candy and tucked the wrapper in his pocket. Why? Because he couldn't find the trash can where he would drop it. So on getting to our airport in Nigeria, the guy just removed the thing and threw it away.
Can you imagine? You can imagine that. Yeah, that is the point. Yeah, that is just, honestly, you see, you can imagine that. You see, I think it just like, I don't know which of you it was. I think it was Shegun who mentioned me. I think it goes beyond just our leaders. Yeah, I understand. Honestly, the bulk of it it behooves our leader. It's on our leaders. There's no doubt about it. But we actually have our own responsibility. We should take responsibilities as well. You can imagine what you just said. And that is and honestly, it is not a joke. It is something a Nigerian can do. I agree with you. It is something a Nigerian can do, honestly. You can imagine you got to Nigeria, you took it from somewhere, put it in your pocket. This is exactly what we do. I drink water driving in the car. After drinking water, instead of just winding down and throw, I don't do that. You see, I just drop it in the car. So when I get home, I pick it, take it into the house and put it in the trash. Or if I get to the either a gas station or whatever, they have a trash. But that is the norm. And that is the way it should be. But in Nigeria, anything, you just trash anything.
That is because Nigerians have come to believe that to be successful, you have to operate in the environment as the environment is. That is just it. This is the environment. So if you go abroad, when you come here, you operate. If you are in Rome, do as the Romans do. This is the environment here. If you want to go get ahead, you have to operate. And a few people that don't want to operate in that environment, things are awfully difficult for them in this country. If you want to be straight, if you don't want to operate in that environment,
that's another challenge.
Extremely difficult for you to go ahead.
Yes.
So that is what everybody believes. You can step from the plane from UK or from anywhere. You are already here. This is how it is done here. You begin to shunt. You begin to run when there's even no urgency to clear your goods. You
Honestly.
So it's just that the environment.
Honestly. Anyway, that is just we're just laughing over it, but that thing has destroyed and is still destroying Nigeria, unfortunately. So sad, honestly. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Barrister Austin Manta is a lawyer, a very senior lawyer. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time or who just joined us for the first time, Shegun Onibio is a journalist, a senior journalist. I didn't know, Shegun, that you were, I don't know if you are still a sportsman, to the extent you represented Nigeria for 5 years. Volleyball team, man, that was great. 5 years, no small team representing Nigeria. Anyway, congratulations for that. And thank you for that, for representing us.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, viewers. This is if this is your first time, if you did not know before now, this is JIBRIN Angle, and coming to you on Oweleke TV. Please subscribe to this platform if you have not done so. I bet you you will get what interests you as usual. Thank you very much, and remain blessed, everyone.